you all for attending today. It's a moment of extreme pleasure to welcome the participants who are present here to attend this workshop. On behalf of Jksm Sahodaya School Complex Dhanbad, I offer my regards to all the chairmen, vice chairmen, principal, STNCs, and all the delegates to joining with us. I convey my regards to the today's resource person of the evening, Mr. PABITRA KUMAR ACHERJEE from Holy Mothers Academy. Before doing the session, I would like to request our mentor and the most valuable person in our community, Mr. Juvin Bose sir, for addressing some relevant information regarding the training session. I heartily welcome Juvin sir. Juvin Bose sir. Sir, please.
A very good morning to all of you. A very good evening, rather, to all of you, and I welcome all of you for this training session today. I will just take a brief 2-3 minutes to discuss some very relevant points. I hope all chairmen, vice chairpersons, principals, and STNCs are listening very carefully, because this is indeed according to the instructions of the CBSE conferred down to me today, this morning, and also regarding the way the training is going on. First of all, I'll give 1 or 2 clarifications regarding some queries raised in the last training session. The program for the entire 25 hours has been sent to the different Sahodayas in details, including the resource person, including the timing schedule, and the topic of the session. It has been given already almost 1 month back. So if you have not received it, it's unfortunate. Please get it from your colleagues. The second point is, today I have issued the details of the certificates for the 24th and the 27th to the various chairmen of the Sahodayas. In the list, there might be some names missing. This is what I want to clarify. CBSE is going to take this training very seriously, and every training that is done by us must be verified by our records and sent to CBSE for the school in April, but from the Sahodaya heads now. That means each and every training that is done, the data of the training, the executive members of the Sahodaya and which Sahodaya it belongs, what was the training, who was the resource person, and who were the members who were present and deserved certification, has to be sent to the CBSE after every training program. This is an enormous job, and already it is taking 3-4 of us the whole time to get this done. Let me clarify finally for all of you. To be able to receive certificate for these trainings, you have to register, you have to attend the program, and you have to submit the feedback. These are not my instructions. These are instructions as mandated by CBSE. Unless all these 3 things are done, under no circumstances will any certificate be issued. Already I have sent the list to the various chairmen for the 24th and the 27th, and you will find some names might be missing. That means either you have not registered, or you have not attended, or you have not submitted the feedback. So there is nothing I or the Sahodaya chairman or your principal can do. If you have not fulfilled these 3 criteria, you are not eligible, you are not permitted for the training. Second point is, apart from these 3 factors, every details of the training are being uploaded day-wise to the CBSE. Whatever is sent by the schools in April, this will be cross-verified. In fact, the M22 now is being cross-verified. So please take the training very seriously, and all principals I will request to take the daily attendance of whether their teachers have participated, submitted the feedback, and registered. These three things are of vital importance. The lists that have been sent contain a small part at the bottom mentioning pending. That means those teachers have attended the program, but the data in the feedback is wrong. Either they have put their names twice or the OS ID is wrong, something is wrong. This can be corrected and sent to your respective chairman as soon as possible. It will be corrected by us. CBSE is going to verify everything. So I request all principals to please ensure that from the 6 districts that we are conducting under the aegis of Confederation of Jharkhand Sahodayas, the 3 Sahodayas that we have come together and we are doing this outstanding training and we are doing it very well. Let it not be spoiled for a few who are lazy, who don't want to do the work properly or doing shortcuts. CBSE will not tolerate it and will not allow. And from our Sahodayas, we will also not allow any false information to go anywhere. My request to each and every OSS ID teacher, every STNC, every principal, and all my dear Sahodaya chairpersons and vice chairpersons, please take this very seriously. I had a detailed talk with the regional officer this morning. We are doing a wonderful job, but under no circumstances, except the bona fide candidates, certificates are going to be issued to others. Only who is deserving, certificates will be issued, and day by day, I've already sent 24th and 27th to the respective chairman, and as early as Monday, I'll be sending up to 31st. So whatever data you have sent by M22 will be cross-checked by CBSE. Please take this very seriously. This is my earnest request to all. This is a wonderful exercise by so many people, so many schools, so many districts. For a few, let us not spoil it. My regards to all of you, and Badul sir, you may proceed.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for your innovative information. Without any delay, I would like to invite Mrs. S. Banerjee ma'am from SGD Modern School Chirkunda for addressing today's program. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am. We continue.
Good evening. I welcome all of you to this 1-hour training session organized by Jksm Sahodaya, respected chairman, sir, Mr. TK Sinha, our mentor and principal, Mr. Zubin Bose, all the chairmen of different Sahodayas, respected principals of different schools, vice principals, STNCs, all admins, and all educators. A very good evening to all. Today, we are having the topic cyber security and ethics. The consideration of computer ethics fundamentally emerged with the birth of computers. There was concern right away that computers would be inappropriately used to the detriment of the society, compromising information security. To discuss on this topic, today we have with us our resource person, Mr. PABITRA Kumar ACHERJEE, BCA, PGDCA, and MA English. He has a teaching experience of 15 years. And currently, he's working in Holy Mother's Academy, KATRAS, since September 2008. He has a long experience in conducting CBSE Sahodaya trainings. He was conferred the Teacher's Merit Award from Sahodaya School Complex, DHANBAD chapter for the session 2018-19. The Human Resource Development Ministry has appreciated him for his achievements in his field. He has been coordinating cyber Olympiads in school. He looks after the discipline of the school with an able hand and knows the ins and outs of every student of the school. He is a great person to work with Mr. PABITRA Kumar ACHERJEE around. No work seems to be difficult. On this note, let us begin our today's session. Sir, please begin.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So, a very good evening to Honorable Chairman, Mr. Jksm sir, our mentor, guide, pathfinder, Jubin Bose sir, Chairman of other SAHODAYAS under the aegis of Confederation of JHARKHAND SAHODAYAS in association with CBSE COE Patna. The principals, STNCs, and a very good evening to the two prominent resource persons, two dynamic resource persons, Madam Sujata Ranjan and Sir Surajit Sen. Myself, Mr. PABITRA ACHERJEE from Holy Mother's Academy, KATRAS, is feeling very thankful to the authorities of Jksm SAHODAYA School Complex for giving me this opportunity for being the resource person of today's in-house online training session. It gives me immense pleasure to announce that CBSE has launched its online course in cybersecurity, wherein all the informations pertaining to cybersecurity has been given. Now, our teachers are well equipped. My dear educators, my dear teachers, the informations that are provided in the CBSE are not only the precautionary measures. Therein, the informations are also given in such a way so that we can know how and when we teachers, our students are becoming the victim of various cyber crimes. I'm very hopeful that today's 1 hour online session will be very beneficial for all of us. Dear teachers, we are now living in 21st century and we have progressed a lot. We have digital advancement, IT reforms, and all these have taken place after 1990s. Now moving to the next slide. Cybersecurity. We know all of us are observing, we all are witness of the increasing use of technology, the increasing use of information and communication technology. And with the advancement of technology, our world became wider, our world became richer. It became more efficient and interactive place. Along with the advancement, it also reinforces our dependence on technology. That can never be complete without safe or secure. That cannot be fulfilled without security. So we must be aware of the fact, we must be aware of the term security. What is cyber security? What is computer security? Cyber security or computer security is the protection. It is the protection of computer. It is the protection of technology. It is the protection of our information so that it cannot be disclosed. It cannot be misused by some unknown user, by some unauthorized users. So cyber security and the ethics has become a matter of global interest and importance. Now, ethics or cyber ethics. Cyber ethics is a set of moral principles. It's a code of conduct that tells us what to do, what not to do, how to use. Cyber ethics is the study of moral, legal, and social issues involving cyber technology. I mean, whenever we are using technology, whenever we are using internet, we know that nowadays we are doing each and every work in online mode. I mean, almost all the fields have been digitalized, everything digital, beginning with education, entertainment, defense, governmental, non-governmental, whatever it is. Even if it is done in offline mode, but also it's more important to do it in online. So keeping all these things in mind, we must be aware of the security of the information that we are going to store, that we are going to share, that we are going to keep, that we are putting in a particular place, in a particular device. Cyber ethics also examines the impact that cyber technology has for our social, legal, and social system. Not only this, but also cyber ethics evaluate the social policies, the laws that we frame in response to issues generated by the development and use of cyber technology. So it's mandatory. It's our responsibility. It should be in our mind, and moreover, we should think it as a duty. If we are using technology, if we are doing our in online mode, then it's also necessary to take care of the information, to take care of the devices. That is what ethics says. Now, moving to the next slide, here is the statistics of cyber crime. And this statistics is given as per the survey of 2020 and 2021. There is a comparison in the above statistics, above chart. There is a comparison between the cyber crime of worldwide, I mean the worldwide cyber crime, and the cyber crime that has taken place in India. From the above table, it is illustrated that worldwide 2020, in the month of February, the number of cyber attacks, the number of cyber crimes were 93.1 million. Followed by the next month, all of a sudden, it became 277.4 million. Just imagine the growth of the crime. And this is somewhere because of our carelessness, because of our mistakes. And in the month of November, it became 409 million. I mean, 409 million victims were attacked by the cyber criminals. However, whereas in India, in the month of February 2020, it was 1.3 million, followed by the next month, March, it became 3.3 million. And in the month of July, it became a record that is 4.5 million. Now, comparing the cyber attacks in the month of February 2021 and 2021 in the world and in India, we see that in the month of February 2021, it was 377.5 million. And in India, it was 9.04 million. So it's a matter of fact, and it's a serious matter. Awareness is required. While we are in the online platform, we must be much more conscious, much more vigilant, much more serious in order to keep our devices secure, in order to keep our information secure. Our data means the information, anything that we store, that we keep. So our data comprises of various aspects like computer data, education data, I mean the information related to education, medical data, information online, anything that we are sharing, we are posting, that is also a data, a type of data. And we know that whenever we are exploring internet, we have our own identity. And that is what called digital identity. Each of us, the user ID, the ID, whether it is email ID, whether it is a social networking ID, whatever it is, that is our identity in internet. And finally, employment data and many more can be there. So since we are working with a variety of data, since we are working with a variety of information in online mode, we must be very serious. We should always be aware of the fact that anytime, anywhere, any moment, we may become the victim of cyber attack, cyber crime. Now, Cybersecurity is ongoing process to protect the network system. Not only the data, but also the system. So better what we generally do with our systems. In general, we use licensed versions of antivirus software. We always update our software. We use other preventive measures devices like firewalls, which can be in both the mode, in software, in hardware. And why do we do so? We do so in order to protect our system, in order to protect our devices, in order to protect our data from unauthorized access. So we can protect the corrupted devices, we can protect the corrupted data, we can protect our digital identity in different level, in different mode. So on a personal level, we need to safeguard our digital identity. I mean, whichever user ID and password we are setting, we are creating for our own, for keeping our data, we must be very careful about that. We should never ever share this very personal information to anyone. At the corporate level, how do we protect our devices? How do we protect our data? How do we protect our digital identity? In order to protect our data, in order to protect our digital identity in the corporate sector, it's the responsibility of each and every individual. Then only the reputation, the repo of the organization, the security of the data, the repo of the customer will be sustained. And finally, at the state and the national level, the national security and the safety and well-being of the citizens are at stake. Next. Since we have several cyber crimes, but among all, these are the top 5 cyber crimes: phishing, cyber extortion, data breach, identity theft, and cyberbullying. Phishing is a term referred to an unethical practice. It's an unethical practice. Now, what happens in phishing? In phishing, an unexpected user is tricked by some links, by some fraud phone calls, by some other ways, in order to get the personal information, in order to get unauthorized access of the personal information of that unexpected, of that genuine or the innocent users. So it is the most common type of cyber crime. It happens in our day-to-day life. Many a time with many of us, some fraud calls come. Hello, am I speaking to Mr. This and This? I am from State Bank of India, Chirkunda, or whatever it is. सर मेरा क्या इससे पर्टिकुलर नेम इनसे बात हो रही है? Yes. Whenever you are going to reply, if you are continuing giving the responses, and finally he will make a trick with you in order to get your personal information, very important information. And if there will be the loss of those important information, may lead you to data loss, may lead you to financial loss. All of a sudden वो बताते हैं सर आपका एटीएम कार्ड बंद हो गया है, चालू कराने के लिए आपको ये करना होगा, वो करना होगा. So up to certain extent, we people, those who are aware of the fact, we immediately understand, but there are many people who don't know how to respond, what to do. Even the housewives, they used to give the detail, and within few minutes there become financial loss. When they used to get your the personal detail like credit card number, then your account number and all, they start processing. That is what the data breach. I mean, with your personal information, they start stealing your secret information. Okay. Then cyber extortion. Cyber extortion is the activity of the cyber criminals. It's an act of the cyber criminals. And what they do, they demand payments. They demand payments in whichever way, whichever mode. They demand payments through threats or with the help of any other malicious software. Malicious means malware. I mean harmful software. Next is identify theft. Both data breach and identify theft are similar. The only difference is that therein identify theft, the criminals steal the personal information by committing fraud, and therein data breach, they used to steal information without the consent or without knowing the owner of the information. This is the only difference between the data breach and identify theft. Now, since we know due to the digital advancement, due to the technological advancement, our young minds are also exposed to the online mode. And finally, to the digital platform, means the internet world. We are exposed to the internet world most of the time. Whichever work we are everywhere, not only in specific places, in most of the places wherever it is required, we move to that online mode. Okay, we move to that online mode only. So finally, we move to that the internet world. Now here are apart from the top 5 cyber crimes, here also there are some other forms of cyber crime or cyber attacks. First is plagiarism. What is plagiarism? It's the term. Plagiarism means stealing someone's ideas, someone's thoughts, someone's writings, someone's literary work, some software without the consent of the owner. And plagiarism includes various fields like literature, painting, literary work, then software part. When we take anything without the permission of the owner, when we copy the thing, when we copy something without the permission, without the consent, without the knowledge of the owner, that is what called plagiarism. In school life, in school, suppose you are giving a homework to a particular child, to a particular class, sorry, and the top one, those who always do their homework properly, perfectly, with their own, and there are some students who depends upon others, वो हमेशा सोचते हैं कि उसका देख के लिख लेंगे. So if that kind of student, that kind of child is copying a particular topic that has been given in the homework without the consent, without the permission of the owner of that particular student, then that is what called plagiarism. Why? Because he is not giving the credit to that owner. While he will produce the homework, he will never say, sir, I have written from that particular Ram, I have written from Sam. He will say, yes, I have done my homework. Yes, sir, yes, miss. So this is what called plagiarism. So in order to get rid of this cybercrime, this unethical practice, we should never copy the large portions of the text without the permission of the writers. Rather, we check plagiarism. Another way is that we should check plagiarism through the use of online services. We have various websites like checkforplagiarism.net, plagiarismcheckers.com. So using these sites, we can check the work, the literary work, the writings. Moving to the next. So very earlier, 5 minutes ago, I was saying that technological advancement has taken place to a large extent, due to which we are exposed to the world of technology. We are exposed to the internet world. So along with this, it's a time. It's the most important time to understand the issues or the problems that our students, our teachers can face. when they interact on the digital platform, and also to think how to protect our important and personal information from the teachers and any other misuse. We know that internet world is expanding day by day. So coming to the next issue, coming to the next cybercrime, that is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying, we know very well. Bullying means harassing. So when a person or anyone harasses any other person using the technology, using the internet, using electronic media, through communication, through social media, that is what called cyberbullying. It's a behavior that causes physical and emotional harm. Cyberbullying is a behavior. It's an act that hurt, that causes physical and emotional harm. When a student is bullied by somebody else, some other student, he or she must have failed bad, worried. So cyberbullying is something like that happens there in internet, in the internet world, in the cyber world. Nowadays we have many devices. We have a lot of technologies to be used, to be implemented, and using those, instead of using them, some of us are misusing them. So when a person uses the electronic media like the smartphones, computers, laptops, or any other network devices through the use of any communication tool, whether it is email or the chatting session or the chat messages, or posting, sharing any embarrassing pictures, embarrassing images, posting any rumors, that is what called cyberbullying. So we know if there is a problem, there must be a solution. And we should always think about the challenge that may come to us, that we would have to face. So we have several preventive measures. We have the remedies. We have the ways to get rid of all these problems, all these issues. We should always take the privacy setting. Security is a term that refers to privacy. To keep personal information secret is privacy. We should check our privacy setting in social media like Facebook, We have a lot of ways for the security of the data, for the security of our digital identity. The only thing is that we should be careful. We should think before doing, before posting, before sharing. So we should think twice before posting any text, any picture in the public portal. And it happens with the teenagers. Nowadays we see the teenagers, the school children, they used to pass, that is, the internet is their pastime. Nowadays, internet is their pastime. They forgot all the outdoor games and they became expert in internet games. They became expert in internet activities. But they are not conscious. They are always unconscious about the matter of fact that they may be the victim anytime, anywhere, due to their carelessness. Without thinking, they used to share, they used to post any picture. So we should make them aware about the fact. We should make them understand the difference between the private and public portal. What is private, what is public. We should create awareness among our children. Being teachers, it's a moral duty. It's a moral responsibility to create awareness among them, among our students. Next, we should always keep our personal information like username, user ID, address, contact number, debit card, credit card details, password, always private. We should keep all these things secret. Other than me, nobody else should know. Moving to the next slide. See, phishing, I told you, once again, it is an illegal practice to obtain personal or financial information such as passwords, user ID, I mean all the personal information. In this malicious activity, the cyber attackers seem to be reputable personnel. I mean, they become reputed. I mean, what trick they used to do, we will not believe. Whatever post they used to make, we often see whenever we open any browser or whenever we open our or any application, we used to get various pop-ups. There in those pop-ups also, we used to get the advertisement about the products of different companies or something, some other tempting information that some other information that makes us crazy to open and see and know. And it's our instinctive nature. It's the instinctive nature of the human being to know the new things. We always go for the new. Whenever we get a new message, we become excited to read. Whenever we get a link, we become excited to open. So what they do, they used to post some sites. They used to post some advertisements in the form of pop-ups. However, that seems to be genuine. And thinking this, the innocent, the genuine, the generous user fall under their greed. That is their practice, that is their technique of framing the message. And they frame the message with the objective of stealing the information. Whenever the user receives the message, opens the link, then further he or she is directed to the malicious link, malicious website by asking personal and financial details like the user ID, like the password, like the account number, or any other important information. So how to prevent phishing? How to prevent this cyber ethics crime? How to prevent this unethical practice? If a received mail contains spelling and grammatical mistakes, we should always know, remember that email to be a spam, because the reputed organizations have the personnel to correct such mistakes. Sometimes we get confused while we type the URL. We know that the URL begins with HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. That is the basic protocol used for establishing the link between the web server and the browser. So HTTP is not the correct one. Always remember that begin with HTTPS. This is the correct one. Before clicking on any link, we must think twice, thrice. If we have the protection to our devices, it will automatically be detected. If we do not have that much security with us, that much protection with us, then definitely it will be harmful for us. Cyber criminals use web addresses similar to large organizations' websites, but it is slightly altered way. What I told, HTTP, HTTPS, slightly altered. It seems to be the same, but slightly different. That becomes out of sight. And with excitement, we go for that and fall victim of the cyber criminals. Become the victim of the cyber criminals. We should always be aware of phishing calls. Whatever I told few minutes ago, and it is very common to us, the fraud calls from different banks, from different companies, from this, that. That is the technique, that is the way of making people fool. That is the way of bringing the people under their control in order to get the personal information, in order to get the secret information, in order to break the privacy of that particular person. So these are the ways to get rid of phishing. Next is spamming. What is spamming? The technique, the process of sending junk mails by unknown resources, by the unknown users from the unknown resources. And generally, you must have seen that the junk mails always come to our spam mailbox. In our email account, in Gmail, we have spam mailbox. These junk mails may include the advertisements, the pamphlets, the brochures. They offer big rewards. But whenever we go for that, we lead to the loss of our data. These mails are sent indiscriminately to multiple lists, to the individuals or the news groups to advertise their products and services. Preventive measures, how to prevent? We should always preview the message before opening it. Never reply, never forward, or never ever click on any link given in the spam email. Better, we should use the spam filters like Spam-Base for Windows. And these spam filters are freely available. These spam filters are available free of cost. We can download this from internet. These are the open source softwares. And moreover, software piracy. Piracy. The term piracy refers to duplication. When a particular software is copied from one and distributed to other, sold to other without the consent of the developer, that is what called software piracy. Under the copyright law, software piracy occurs when copyright protected is copied. I mean, when the actual task is copied, distributed, or sold. It is considered direct copyright infringement when it denies copyright holders due to compensation for the use of their creative works. I mean, when someone abides by the law of the copyright protected and takes the software from, takes the copy of the particular software and sells or distributes or gives to someone for the sake of getting money or for any other purposes, that is what called software piracy. So there are several forms of software piracy: CDR piracy, counterfeiting piracy, shoplifting, hard disk loading, end user piracy, internet piracy. I mean, when something is copied from internet without having, if it is open source, it's okay. And if it is not open source, if we are getting it after breaking the privacy, after hacking, that is what called internet piracy. So how to prevent software piracy? We should educate. I mean, again, awareness is required. We should make others understand about licensing requirement. Here also ethics is required. We should have that thinking. We should have that code of conduct. We should have that understanding. That is what should we do, what we should not. Acquire the license for full compliance of the software. Do not ever indulge in downloading a software or try to make copies of the software without the knowledge of the user. So these are the things that we should do, we should follow in order to stop software piracy, in order to minimize software piracy. Finally, individual right to privacy. Privacy, secrecy. Maintaining secret information. I mean, protecting the informations, keeping the information secret. It is one of the important aspects in one's life. And it is unethical to infringe on the privacy of a person. It's not a good practice, it is unethical. It's not our ethics to steal, to infringe someone's private information without his or her consent and knowledge. So a person shouldn't steal one's personal information. What should we do? We should delete the sensitive data when not in use. We should not disclose, again, the user ID, the login ID, the password to anyone. Some more ways are there. Some more preventive measures are there. Some more processes are there to protect the information, to protect ourselves, to protect our digital identity, to protect our information in the internet world. And finally, to minimize cybercrime. Encrypt data. Data encryption is one of the most useful process. What happens when we encrypt the data? Even if a hacker hacks the data, hacks the information, he or she will not be able to read the information. When we encrypt a file, when we encrypt the data, it becomes non-readable. Say, whenever we set password, instead of displaying the actual letters, actual digits, instead of that, star, star, or dot, or bullets, whatever that is what called encryption. Even if, but don't think like that. If you are using internet, if you have opened your ID and you kept it open and went somewhere, somebody else came, by the time you may be hacked, your ID may be hacked. So that is encryption. Unless the sender will not decrypt or the receiver will not decrypt the data, it will not become readable. Always use strong password. Activate firewall that I discussed earlier. Use licensed versions of antivirus software. Carefully use the USB and other removable devices. Always make a backup for future use. In case of data loss, the data backup will be used. Update your data, update your software. Always scan the email attachments and avoid unknown email attachments. So here is an activity for you all. That is, so far I discussed about the several cyber crimes, cyber attacks, forms of cyber crime, unethical practices. So here are the things that we should do and we should not do. I have mentioned, for example, actually it's a recapitulation. After all, what did we come to know? We should always use a strong password. That's a point. We should never ever share a password to any unknown user. So like this, you please send some more do's and don'ts. Arvind sir, please open the chat box. Enable the chat box.
Yes, sir, it is there.
We must click on the authentic link. Exactly, very good. We should see the URL, and there, while you will see the URL, one thing I would like to say, Madam Rinku Prasad Shah, whenever we will see the URL, the thing that we must see, we must take care of is the HTTP and HTTPS. This is very important. We should avoid sharing OTP, definitely. We should never share OTP. We should always check domain name, yes. Before clicking, correct form of digit should be checked. In case of financial transaction, it's quite important, it's quite necessary, it's very, very urgent to check before finalizing. Do not share personal electronic information. Keep your data secure. Do not share, never share the PIN. Yes, yes. We must use antivirus and do not click on doubtful link. Okay, okay, very good. Thank you all. Now, Arvind sir, please disable it. I got enough answers. Thank you all. Now, with this fact, I would like to end this session. Recently, it's a very interesting fact also. Recently, Google site was hacked for 51 seconds. And it was hacked by Rituraj Chaudhary of Begusarai, Bihar. So after it was hacked, the Google officials in the USA went crazy. They became surprised. They astonished. But Rituraj resumed Google services and mailed them about a flaw on their website that can be used to hack the system. He informed, you know, that hacking is, however, unethical, but hackers steal information not for malicious purposes. They are fond of doing for the sake of, they do it as a challenge. So he confessed and he informed about the fact, the way. So these claims further adds, and Google held a meeting for 12 hours in the US, and the team decided to hire Rituraj. And surprisingly, it's a matter of surprise that the Google team sent him an offer letter with a package of rupees 3.66 crores per annum. But Rituraj did not have a passport. So the Google talked to the government of India, and the newly made passport reached his home within 2 hours. So finally, he will fly there, he will go there by a private jet. Rituraj is a student of BTech second year. He's doing his BTech degree from IIT Manipur. Okay, so thank you. With this, I'm ending my session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Now,
Now
Badal look into it.
Now
Mr.
I would like to thank our distinguished speakers, Mr. Pabitra Kumar Acharjee, sir, for making an excellent presentation and making this seminar a very meaningful and interesting. Thank you, sir, a lot. Now I would like to express our deep gratitude to the chairman of Jksm Sahodaya School Complex, Mr. TK Sinha, sir, and our mentor, Jubin, sir, and all the members of different Sahodaya with their principals and delegates for his presence in this seminar. Now I would like to request Mr. Anant Kumar Jha, principal of JMTara, lay down their words in front of you all. Sir, please.
Well,
Sir.
well, sir, a very good morning, a very good afternoon, evening to all of you. Well, actually, I feel more than my tongue can utter as it goes. When my heart is full, tongue is silent. To have such a golden opportunity to speak over this wonderful session and the training which had been going on so successfully, so wonderfully. Sir, I am audible. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go on.
Yes, sir. So, actually, in-house, this type of Sahodaya training, Jksm Sahodaya. So, I would like to say that it is just like so much informative, so much useful, so wonderful, and it is just. But we should, all of us are feeling home-like because it is house type house training. So home means home. That is why places you may roam, but there is no place like home. So that is why it is very interesting for all of us though it is very resourceful, yes, we learn a lot. Even then, it is very interesting also. So the source of inspiration we got from this, and so many skills we have learned. So actually I can say the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but we all Jksm Sahodayans have promises to keep, and miles to go before we sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So what very wonderful, very useful, very resourceful Jksm Sahodaya training is going on, and we are learning from zero, and we become hero in this sense. So I would like to convey one thing, that I belong to here as a principal JNV JAMTARA, and JAMTARA is very, very notorious. Daily, the cases are reported in bank, especially the cloning of ATMs. So of ATMs, there is just blown up. 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakhs daily it is going. So cloning of ATMs, and we should be very careful that unless and until the green lights comes, we should not leave the ATM, so that we can prevent cloning also. So many information, so many preventive measures also have been presented by in a very interesting, wonderful manner by our resource person, PABITRA KUMAR ACHERJEE, Holy Mothers Academy, KATRAS. So I extend my hearty thanks to him. And before that, giving thanks, I would like to pray Lord Shiva, the Panni, because we have to make something God divine power also to have success of this program, because it is going on so well, so wonderful, and so useful, and so resourceful. So 2 lines I would like to recite. Nretavashane, Nretavashane, Nataraj Rajo, Nanad Dhakam, Navapanchavaram, Uddhartu Kamaha, Uddhartu Kamaha, Shankadi Siddha, Netad Vimarse. So by the grace of Lord Shiva, this program would be again would be very fruitful and would be very useful in the future also. A very resourceful, wonderful program. And last, I would like to extend my hearty thanks to our TK Sinha sir, Chairman Confederation of JHARKHAND SAHODAYA, and Mr. Jovin Bose, the mentor, philosopher and guide to this wonderful program. And after that, I would like to extend my hearty thanks to Pramesh Solomon, Chairman, GODDA and JAMTARA. And also, I extend my hearty thanks to Padipad Mukherjee, Chairman, DUMKA and JAMTARA. And last but not the least, finally, the today resource person, PABITRA KUMAR ACHERJEE, Holy Mothers Academy, KATRAS. I extend my hearty thanks to him for having such a wonderful and such a very, very burning topics of the cyber crime, cyber thugs in a very useful manner, very wonderful manner. And above all, the technical head, our Arvind ji sir, because without him, the program would not be have such a success, grand success. And I also thank all the STNC, all the principals, all the teachers, all the vice principals to make this program a grand success. With such hope and goodwill, let me thanks once more, extend my hearty thanks to one and all. With such hope and goodwill, let me thank you once again, once more. With such hope and goodwill, I would like to just end my voice with the with the same motive, same intention, just like Vivekanand, the very what he told. Do you want to haunt the lion? Do you want to rob the king's treasure? With such type of indomitable zeal, we are leading to have such a CBSE program, SAHODAYA program, in-house JKSM SAHODAYA programs. So, and thanks, sir. With many thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lord, sir. Now I would request Doman Saw, sir, from St. Xavier School, Barwadda, to conclude today's program. Sir, please, Doman sir.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir, clearly?
Yes, sir. Continue.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Padal, sir, principal, sir. This is my privilege to give the vote of thanks on behalf of Jksm Memorial SAHODAYA School Complex, Dhanbad. I, Masa from St. Xavier Mission School, Barwadda, Dhanbad. I would like to thank today's resource person, PABITRA Acharya, sir. Sir, you have nicely explained each point of cybersecurity and ethics. Your voice was very clear, sir. Your presentation was also clear and it was beautiful, sir. We are very thankful, sir. You have given a very informative and for training such like that we have to secure our laptops, our gadgets, what we use in online trainings, we use at our house, we use in banks and other places, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to thank Arvind sir that this complete online training is hosted by the Arvind sir and is controlling all the things that we all teachers will able to take the proper training by the session. I would like to thank all the teachers of different Sahodayas, those who are very patiently and actively participating and listening carefully the training session. And now I would like to thank TK Sinha sir, chairperson of Jksm Memorial Sahodaya Complex. I would like to thank Jubin Bose sir, our mentors, because these all trainings are possible due to the Jubin Bose sir. I would like to thank all the different chairperson and vice chairperson of different Sahodayas. I would like to thank all the principals, all the STNCs, and all those who have participated actively. Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.